On a September morning in 1991, 8 people in matching jumpsuits waved to a cheering crowd in the Arizona desert, stepped through a steel airlock, and sealed the door behind them. They would not breathe outside air for 2 years. Inside their glass world, a rainforest, an ocean, a desert, a farm. It was a dress rehearsal for the grandest journey our species has ever dreamed of, the voyage to another star. What happened inside that glass box is the reason this video exists, because the harsh truth about reaching another star was never really about rockets. But let's start where everyone starts, with the distance, and work our way down to the part nobody talks about. The nearest star to our sun is called Proxima Centauri. Astronomers write the distance as 4.24 light-years, which sounds almost cozy. Here's what it actually means. The farthest any human has ever traveled is the moon. If that entire journey, the greatest voyage in our history, were a single step, then reaching Proxima would be a hike around the whole planet. Twice. Voyager 1, the fastest machine we've ever launched, has been flying for almost 50 years. If its journey were a marathon toward Proxima, it hasn't passed the 30-meter mark. At Voyager's speed, the full trip takes 75,000 years. Build something 10 times faster, and it's still 75 centuries. And here's the bitter footnote. Proxima is a flare star. It spits violent bursts of radiation that would sterilize an unshielded probe long before arrival. Our closest option is also one of the worst, so you go faster. To make the trip inside one human lifetime, you need roughly 10% of the speed of light. And there you collide with a formula written in 1903 by a half-deaf Russian schoolteacher named Konstantin Tsiolkovsky. The rocket equation. It says, fuel must push fuel that pushes fuel, so the cost doesn't grow. It explodes. Reaching 10% of light speed with chemical rockets isn't just hard. The fuel required would outweigh the observable universe. Fusion, then? The most serious starship design ever engineered, Project Daedalus, needed 50,000 tons of helium-3, a fuel so rare the plan was to mine it from the atmosphere of Jupiter, with robotic balloon refineries for 20 years before launch. And that ship carried no humans. Add people, shielding, and life support, and the honest math says you'd need several years of the entire planet's energy output. For one ship. One way. And one way is generous because of the paradox at the heart of it all. The thing that gets you there is the thing that keeps you from arriving. In space, braking costs exactly as much energy as accelerating. Whatever monstrous system launched you, you need a second one, fully fueled, just to stop. The most famous plan simply skipped that part. Breakthrough Starshot, funded by a billionaire with Stephen Hawking on the board, wanted to fire gram-sized chips toward Proxima at 20% of light speed, pushed by a giant laser. 20 years to arrive. And then, the chips screamed through the entire star system in seconds, capturing about 200 milliseconds of photographs. No breaks exist. Not a visit, a glance. And even that was too ambitious. Last year, Scientific American reported that Starshot has quietly died. Of the $100 million promised, less than 5% was ever spent. The most credible interstellar project of our lifetime ended not with a launch, but with unanswered emails. And even if you somehow built a working starship, there's a trap waiting that has nothing to do with engineering. It's called the weight calculation. Technology keeps improving while your ship is in flight, which means any vessel you launch today will be overtaken, mid-journey, by a faster one, launched decades later. A crew that departs on a 400-year voyage would arrive to find the destination already colonized by the great-grandchildren of the people who stayed home. Launching early doesn't make you a pioneer. It makes you a museum exhibit that arrives late. So the rational move is always to wait forever. Which brings us back to Arizona. Biosphere 2 was supposed to prove the easy part, that we can keep humans alive in a sealed box at all. 8 people, 2 years, a habitat with Earth's gravity, Earth's sunlight, and engineers standing right outside the glass. Within 16 months, the oxygen had fallen so far, it was like living at 4,000 meters altitude. The crew couldn't finish their sentences. The building itself was quietly eating their atmosphere. The pollinating insects died. Vines strangled the food crops. Cockroaches took over. And the 8 humans split into 2 factions that stopped speaking to each other. 2 years on Earth, with help a phone call away, and the world inside the glass still fell apart. A starship needs that box to work flawlessly for centuries. Smaller, weightless, and accelerating away from the only repair shop in existence. The researchers who modeled it found the ecosystem collapses on a schedule roughly half as long as the journey. The plants you launch with are not the plants that arrive. And the people? To avoid genetic collapse, you need at least about 100 unrelated settlers. Realistically, 500. A small town sealed in a can for 4 centuries. Every crew we've ever locked in, submarines, polar stations, space stations, lasted months with a return ticket in the drawer. These passengers' great-great-grandchildren would have to keep believing in a destination chosen before anyone alive was born. And the cruelest twist, children born aboard, shaped for generations by a metal tube, might survive neither the New World nor Earth, a species evolving inside a vehicle with nowhere safe to land. Quick pause. If this video is quietly rearranging your picture of the future, that's exactly what this channel does. Subscribing takes 1 second, because everything you just heard was building to a twist. This whole time, we've all been asking the wrong question. The question was never, how do we get to another star? Look down. You're standing on a starship. Earth is a sealed, self-repairing life support system carrying 8 billion passengers through the galaxy at 800,000 kilometers per hour. Right now, as you watch this, it is the only generation ship that has ever worked. It recycles its own air. It feeds its own crew. It shields us from radiation, free of charge, for 4 billion years, and counting. Everything Biosphere 2 couldn't manage for 2 years. This ship does every single day. There is no resupply, and there is no second one. And the stars we can't reach, they've started coming to us. In 2017, the first confirmed visitor from another star system tumbled through our solar neighborhood. In 2019, a second. And just last year, a third, a comet called 3I/Atlas, which the James Webb Telescope analyzed only weeks ago and found chemistry unlike anything ever born around our sun. Interstellar travel, it turns out, happens all the time. Nature has been doing it for billions of years. It just doesn't mind spending millions of years per trip. Astronomers now expect to catch a new visitor almost every year. Somewhere out there, the next messenger from another star is already inbound, carrying chemistry no one has ever seen from a place no one will ever go.